Hey there, everyone. Welcome back. You are watching Insight. It's always a great time to connect with our good friend Heather Foster with Foster Financial Services. Today, Heather, we are talking long-term care rate increases. What should people know about that? Who should be expecting these type of things?
Yeah, so people get letters, Tony. I mean, that's kind of their first thing that they're like, wait a minute, what my insurance that's been, X amount per year for many, many years, they're getting these rate increase letters. But I'm actually here to caution people, Tony, on getting those letters, because those letters can seem a little bit manipulative, in my opinion. And the fact that when you receive a letter, it may be saying something along the lines of, we're going to be increasing your rates 220%. And that is a large increase. And so sometimes these letters will come out. They'll say, hey, we're looking at increasing your premium 220%. And they'll give you like 4 options. You can lower your coverage to keep your premiums the same. You can keep your coverage the same and increase your premiums. And there's usually like 4 different options. And then a lot of times these companies will give you some sort of little incentive if you turn in the paperwork very, very quickly, okay, very quickly, then maybe you'll get like an extra $1,200 off of your next premium. So there's an enticement there to turn this paperwork in very quickly. The problem, Tony, is that there's not actually been an approval for a 220% rate increase generally with these companies. So they send out these letters when they're seeking an increase, but they have to go to each state. And the states have to approve the increase. An example was in 2019, we had one of these letters come out. We had clients ourselves calling that had owned these policies. And they're like, hey, what do I do? Like, I can't afford a 220% increase. And it makes it seem like you've got to make that decision right then and there. But in reality, the state of Indiana did not approve a 220% rate increase. They approved an 18% rate increase. Very large discrepancy there. Yeah. Then the companies ended up actually suing Indiana and saying, hey, we want a judge to decide what the rate increase can be because 18% is too little. Obviously, Indiana is saying 220% is way too much. And a judge settled on somewhere around 40% rate increase. But again, 40% rate increase versus a 200 plus increase is very different. The process that these companies have to go through typically takes 1 to 2 years. So when you get a letter like this and they're trying to make you make a decision really quickly, there's not even been an approval of this rate increase. They have to go to the states. They have to apply with the states for a rate increase. The state will come back after a long due diligence process and offer, okay, maybe you're asking for 220, but we're going to allow you to only do 20%. And then from there, if the company wants to argue, it actually then goes to court, right? So we've seen class action lawsuits about this kind of stuff because these letters, again, are kind of misinforming and making it seem like you got to make this decision very quickly, when in reality, again, they've not even got to the state of Indiana. So we've called the state of Indiana to ask kind of what this process looked like the last time these companies did this. And again, they kind of advise probably most people should consider, again, depending on your circumstances, please reach out and get qualified advice from somebody. But most people shouldn't be even deciding what they're going to do until they actually see what the rate increase is. Again, so if you've got this letter, my advice is to seek out a professional who's a fiduciary who can guide you through this, because there's no reason for you to accept a rate increase that hasn't even been accepted by the state. So wait maybe until that state has accepted it. Again, they usually give you some sort of little tiny, offers for $1,200 if you make this decision within like 5 days of receiving the letter. That's so that you will sign off to go ahead and start paying these higher premiums that haven't even been approved yet, or lowering your coverage when you don't need to make that decision until you actually see what your state's approval has been for your long-term care coverage and the rate increases associated with it.
That's why it's important to reach out to professionals such as yourselves over at Foster Financial Services to get those questions answered, to see when they should be looking into doing so. Thank you so much, Heather. We appreciate you as always.
You're welcome.
Everyone, take a look at your screen right now. You can find out much more information about Foster Financial Services. We'll be right back.